Hi everyone, it's Jeanette, Crafty Dork, here with another video. It's a bit different this time. Susanna Easdale has challenged me in the 10 Crafty Questions challenge. So I've got my list here. I'm just going to do a little bit of crafting while I'm talking to you. This is just a cover of a that I made up using cardstock, Tyvek. I think I showed this a while ago or talked about it a while ago. I put it on and it crinkled and I put it away for a while because I really didn't like the way it stuck down, but I've since distressed it and it's come up beautifully. So there we go, that's the first little bit of show and tell for a new album. So the first question is, what's your name? Well, my name's Jeanette Leslie Dawkins, and my married name, I was a Thomas. My Jeanette came about, Dad and Mum were thinking of calling me Jane, and there was a sister at the hospital called Jane Thomas who was a bit of a dragon evidently, and Dad said, well, no way is my daughter being named after her. So we got the Jeanette. So that's number one. And how did I come up with my YouTube channel name? That's the next one. Well, we are Dawkins. That's our name, D-A-W-K-I-N-S, not the D-O-R-K ones. But when we were at a netball game, my son was playing netball, and all the boys, you know, here Dork, whatever, when they were playing, you know, and one of the mums said, oh, don't call that boy Dork, you know, that's really naughty to his, to her son. And I said, don't worry about it. I said, we're the original Dorks. And it sort of stuck that we just called ourselves the Dorks. So when it came time to do the channel, I was crafty. Well, I thought I think I am. And I decided to Crafty Dork because we're the Dorks. And so that's how it stuck. Then when I went to go on to Etsy, Crafty Dork was taken, which surprised me. So I suppose there's a few Crafty Dorks out there. And so I decided that I would try the original Crafty Dork, and that was okay. So on Etsy, I'm the original Crafty Dork, which we think we're the originals anyway, you know. There's probably a lot of Dawkinses out there who think the same thing, but there we be. The next question, your favourite craft? Well, probably like a lot of us, we all have multiple tasks, crafts that we enjoy. I guess I started out doing drawings on the homework pages, and that's where I sort of, it started originally. Mum used to knit, and then you know, I guess it all evolves, doesn't it, as you go along your journey of trying all sorts of things out. But my favourite craft would have to be paper crafting. Yeah, paper crafting, I would maybe think. Favourite craft shops? Well, I do shop online. We live in a little country town, and there's not a lot of craft supplies here. We have got a lass that does have a shop in her home, and you know, we go out there and she's got lots of stuff, and she will get stuff in for you, and that's all online as well. There is a little dress shop, haberdashery, material, patchwork. They do classes up there, and I do get some of my materials and things from there. Then then it would be, like everybody, Amazon, eBay, and dare I say AliExpress. But I'm very particular with AliExpress on what I buy, and you know, you've just got to be so careful, don't you? Yeah, so that's my craft supplies. Top 5 channel. Top, oh gosh, now that one is just too hard to even think about, giving you top 5. When I started craft with the junk journal, right down the junk journal road, Tracy Fox was the first one that I followed. I just loved her style and still love her style. I mean, I'm using her kit now, surprise, surprise. Then Gail Agostinelli, I watched her right on the early days when she was just starting out. I loved all her stuff. And that all takes us to Wendy, from Wendy's Journal Adventures. Then on to Roxy Creations. Just love all the stuff that that Rachel does, and Nick the Booksmith. And then Mrs. Cog should be up there as well, towards the top, because I've done quite a few of her courses too. I just love her her courses. So they're the big ones. Then I love watching Susanna Easdale. I think she's got a fabulous, she's the one who got me into this mess of talking about my crafting and 10 craft the questions. I love watching her craft. She's got a unique style. She puts her art into it, and years ago I've done watercolours, oils, pastels, you name. I've dabbled in the art world, but dabbled is what it is. I haven't accomplished anything great, but I do love, and I think that's where some mixed media would be on the, I do love mucking around with getting dirty. We did it yesterday, mucked around, got dirty, and created this little gem. So you know, I do love all that sort of stuff as well. So Susanna and Sharon Tilliard, she's got some great tutorials, and I just love following her process. She's a real thinker about what she does, and yeah, I really enjoy that. Next one is, I think there's more than 5 there. My favourite colours have got to be autumn shades. I love all the oranges and yellows and greens and browns, and I mean, I do like pinks and girly stuff as well, but if I have to choose, the autumn tones are, and the Tracy Fox style, I guess, is my my favourite. I just love it all autumn. Favourite craft tools, here's 2, and then my Helmer's, the fabric glue. So they would be my favourite glues. Then you'd have to go to the cutters, and I like my, these scissors are just long. I mean, they're dirty at the minute. I love those, and my little snippy ones. My little cutter. My big cutter, and then my portable my ruler. So they would probably be the things that I go to, oh, and of course a glue book. So they would be the things that, you know, if I had to go somewhere, and my pencil, and my ink. We could go on, couldn't we? But if I had to go somewhere, those are the things that I would pack in my little bag to take off with. Where do you get your love of crafting? Well, Mum and Dad were always, well, Dad was a carpenter, and so he was always creating with his hands. His love of wood, any wood, you know, he could tell you where it came from, what it was. He had quite a huge shed in the backyard that stretched to another shed that was all racked up with wood. He took over the chook yard, that's all racked up with wood. So when they moved house and prior to their passing and what have you, it was a nightmare trying to clean all that out, but it went to another carpenter. So, and when they did move, Dad said, well, I'll move as long as I can have a shed. So that was one of his stipulations. So, you know, definitely creative wise with Dad. His mum was an artist. Unfortunately I didn't meet her, but I was always in awe of the paintings that she did. Mum used to sew and knit, do embroidery work, and then later she got into with the church group, you know, crafting with you know, making tissue boxes and all that sort of stuff that that we all went through. And I guess I sort of went along that line. I tried everything. I just loved everything. I had two girlfriends that used to like crafting as well, and then another girlfriend that of latter years, she used to do card making, and so we got into the card making and scrapbooking, and then I found junk journaling. So where do you get your love of craft? Where did you start your crafting? Well, those are two sort of similar questions, I think. You know, I basically started when I asked Mum if she could teach me to knit, I think, and that was real early days, you know, in my, 7 or 8 or whatever. And then at school we used to have exercise book, and the top part of it we'd rule off, and we'd do a drawing up there to pretty up the book, the page, and then do our homework, and Mum used to help with that. And so I guess, from there, I suppose. And what's your favourite craft so far? Well, it's definitely got to be paper crafting. I just love paper crafting. It's so diverse. You can, do anything. You can do anything from a card to books. And, it's just a way that I... well, with this, when did you start? We'll go back a step. When did you start crafting? I think when I really seriously started down the paper craft journal, when I had a breakdown. I won't go right into it, but I had post-traumatic stress and what have you, that went on to fibromyalgia and blah, 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 blah. And I lost myself in my craft room. And I could come out here, I could craft, I could lose everything that was troubling me, and just sit here and be happy. And that was probably 2009. And from that day on, I've not looked back. I've just grown and, just worked through lots of things through my craft. And so I guess the paper craft, in whichever form it takes, has been my my saviour. And junk journaling, especially in the latter years, I've only been doing it for 12 months, 18 months, and that's really got under my skin, much to Peter's discussed, because you know, I'm forever buying little bits and pieces to add to my collection. So yeah, so that's me, basically, in a nutshell. I've got two girls that have been looking at my channel, and they've got only you know, a couple of subscribers. Shell's Craft, yeah, Shell's Crafts and Shah Fisher. So I'm going to link them below and contact them and see if they will participate, and it might just help them to move their subbies along. So if you are watching Shell's Craft and Shah Fisher, just be prepared. I will put all the questions down below, so that you can copy those off, and I hope you'll participate. I was a little bit worried when I first started, thinking that, you know, I can't do it, but yeah, I've quite enjoyed the little chat here. So I'm going to sign off now, but I will come back and we'll finish this little wait a minute, how much have we done? No, we won't. We'll continue on for a little bit, because I've only done a quarter of an hour. So this is it's a little, I'm going to change my mind again, girls. I'm going to do this again because it's a little bit complicated, and I'd like to show it to you step by step, so that you can know how to. It's got a pocket in here, it's got a pocket here, and you can see that's one full page. Then you fold this one over it, and you've got a tuck there and a tuck there, and then you fold another page over and you've got one there and one there. So it's a little bit involved, and we might just do that in a minute. So I'm going to do 2 or 3 videos today. How many I'll get hooked up is yet to be seen, but with looking after the little ones, I try and do a couple of videos together, and then I've got some that I can just pop up when they're here. So thank you for listening, and Shell's Crafts and Shah Fisher, I will link you below, and all the questions, and I hope you'll join in, and I hope everybody found this a little bit interesting, to just a little bit more of an insight into who I am. I didn't say when I had my name, I'm married to Peter. I've got 2 children, Simon and Joanne. They've both got partners. Joanne has Tom, and they have Jackson, Mara and Alex, and the cat and the dogs, 2 dogs. And Simon has a partner, Sarah, who is beautiful as well. I love all my kids, and they're expecting a bubby in November, and they have 2 little grand fur babies, who we thought that was going to be Axel and Archer. So yeah, so that's my little family. Love them all to pieces. So anyway, thanks for joining me, and we will see you in the next video. Bye for now.